Welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I'm your host, Donna Crypto TA. Just figured I'd give us a Saturday update here since we are seeing a lot more pumpy price action right now. We just got a correction here on Bitcoin. Well, actually, a little small correction here, just back here to our trend line here. Our ascending trend line from this low, that pivot. We bounced off of it one time already, and we're here again. Now, I am under the assumption, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not an Elliottician in any means necessary. I know the basics when it comes to Elliott wave theory, and it's possible that we could have finished a wave 5 here through this move right here. It's a lot clearer to me if I'm on the 1 hour time frame, potentially that this is a wave 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and then 5 here. Now, if we do extend higher, then I'll be looking for price action to reject somewhere around 71, 427, somewhere right in here. But if this was the peak of our wave 5, I'm looking for a correction somewhere between our 382 and our 50% retracement. I'm not necessarily going to linger on to the idea of us hitting this 618 here, but more so, like I said, here to about our 50% retracement, and then we'd be looking for a continuation. Now, there is the idea that this could have been a wave 2 here if we're on our 4 hour time frame. So if we're on our 4 hour time frame, possible 1, 2 right here, and we're looking for price action to go higher. Now, this doesn't mean that we're about to go up and we're about to make all-time highs by any means necessary. It doesn't mean that. It means that we'll still put in a lower high on our weekly time frame, but that our daily time frame is in the room for a little bit more bounce. Now, where does that potential shift start to happen where we can really say, okay, we've changed market structure, is going to be above this high here. So for today, as it stands over the weekend, I'm really not expecting for us to break above here, but it's very possible that we do. Low liquidity, easier to move the market. And so I'll be looking for us to get into here. Now, if I'm on, let's just go up here to the daily time frame right here. Actually, you know what? We'll stick right here. We'll stick right here. So if we stick right here, and let's just say I'm proclaiming that there's a possibility, we're just going to talk about the potential of it, that this is a wave 1, this is a wave 2 right here. This falling channel right here is our wave 2. And then we're looking for a wave 3 target, that we will be looking somewhere in here. Now, this is going to be the most common right here. This is going to be our 1.618 is going to be our most common target right here. And then we'd get extended right here. Now, these two levels here line up with our golden pocket here for the most common on a wave extension. Most common here. And then for an extended wave, it's going to be here. Now, we're doing something different if we're up here. It's super extended. Okay. So this is what I'm looking for to say, okay, we put in a lower high on our daily time frame. I'm just going to take this away here for a second. I'm going to talk about that too. I'm going to take that away for a second so we can see a little bit clearer in here what the potential is. So on this little pullback that we could be getting right now, this is probably going to be your chance to if you weren't already in a long position, to get into a long position in the event that we're going to ride higher in here. Okay, so if I'm on the daily, okay, so I'm on the daily now, you can see how this would still indicate that we put in a lower high here, because the weekly, like, price action really has to get above here on the weekly. On the weekly, these candles are straight to the downside. So this would just be a bounce either into here, into these lows right here, or we push up a little bit more and we get a little extended into the 786 or the 2% move right here. Yeah, 2x right here, and still putting in a lower high. Like I said, we get up here, then chances are we'd be doing something different. I don't think that we're there, because I do believe that we roll over and we continue down a little bit more, maybe even into here. Which I took that off the chart right now because, to be honest with you, nope, not that. Let's see. I actually don't have it on this one, because this is typically my 4-hour time frame. So I don't have it on this one. All right, so the way we can count this is, like I said, if this isn't going to be an extra 4 or 5, and then we get up into here, and this is just our correction, you'd be looking for your long entry somewhere around this 382 or this 50% retracement. Now, possible that you could do this, but I don't expect us to deviate too far below what would be the the wave 4 in this case. And usually you get about a 1-to-1 ratio measured. See, this would be typical where wave 5 could equal to wave 1. So if I do that, like so, like this, you can see that that's basically what we got here, right there. This would be extended up a little bit more, like I said, if for some reason we do a 4-5 and we come back up and we don't get into these levels down here. I'm hoping we do pull back a little bit because I want to be able to add to my long position. I shared with you yesterday. I actually didn't show you my entry, but I did share with you that I did take a long off of this correction here, where we tapped into. Oh, I don't have them on. We tapped into that same weekly level, which is here. So I longed the weekly level. Now I could have got a sniper entry off of the lows in here, but I just wanted to be more cautious because I'm always scared when I enter a trade. Very much so. I'm always scared when I enter a trade, even though I know losing is part of the process. I'm always scared when I enter a trade. But I entered on this weekly level right here with the reclaim of this weekly level. And then of course it came back down and it's like, I was like, crap. Okay, but no. I really should have went in on that and I didn't. But as far as my entry goes, because I let you know yesterday, hey, I'm trying to find a short hedge because I'm long already, just in case I wait, and just in case our 4-hour time frame did not get the follow through, even though I explained all the reasons why it looks strong, and to be cautious with us playing the channel. And I didn't want to encourage anybody to play around with it like I was. That we likely will see a breakout, and when it happens, it will be aggressive with that 4-hour. And aggression is what we got, and we got that open palm as well. Like we didn't get it the first time. I explained that to you too. Like in here, I played this one. And I was like, I hope it lets me keep it, and it didn't, because when we got this drop here, we didn't get the open palm from the Bollinger. We didn't initially get the open palm here. We got a wick through the level, but no open palm. The open palm happens after we get the pullback. And then we start to get this drop. Then you see the palm open because you get this from the Bollinger Band where you do that type of number, where it spreads out. That's what I said to you yesterday. Like, okay, I couldn't resist this right here because we didn't have the open palm. If we had the open palm, there's no way I would have touched this. But I said it could be like that. It could be like this right here. And then the next move, we get the open palm. And sure enough, we got the open palm like I demonstrated on the stream yesterday. There's the open palm right there. And I said, don't attempt anything at that point because it's gone. It's gone. And so here we are. Here we are. So my long entry, let's see. I'm just speculating that right here, just speculating that this, I mean, I hope it is. I really hope it is. But where am I going to add? I'm not going to add through here. I'm just going to let price action do what it does. If that was not the end of our wave 5, then I'm going to wait until we do get into an ABC correction, re-examine where I have my Fibonacci retracement level pulled at, and look to add on that position from there. Again, market right now, a lot of bullish stuff is showing up in the chart. A lot of bullish stuff. Like we got a little bit of bearish divergence in here, which is also, you tend to get that between wave 4 and 5 also. You'll get a little bit of bearish divergence in here. So we do have some bear deals on the MACD, but it doesn't mean, go in here and start shorting this thing unless you're just taking some scalp positions on Bitcoin. I wouldn't just, be eager to hodl my short. You can see how we had excuse me, you see how we had the little inside bars right here. Whatever triangular formation we had in here at this top, great place to look for some sort of, some sort of give and price action too when we see something like that. Uh, what was it? Okay. Here, yeah. So here, last night I saw this happening. I tell you about how the cloud will give some sort of indication. Hey, we're pretty strong. I mean, you can use Bollinger Bands as well, because I know that most people, actually, no one else is going to have my indicator because it's just something I did for myself personally. But when we look at this QTB right here, it tends to give some sort of an indication on a breakout move. That's why I thought over here initially. I said to you yesterday, I said we started to get this drop in the cloud over here as price action got that bounce right there, but then it absolutely failed. It failed. So troubled me a little bit. It troubled me a little bit that it failed. But when we look here, yeah, this is going to continue. Um, it looks like it could continue. Yeah, looks like it could continue. Unless this is A. Then we get the little bounce on B. You'll be looking for a head and shoulders, and then you'll be looking for that final move down there for your C wave. So an ABC correction. I saw the cloud drop here on the 1 hour time frame yesterday, which was very interesting. At that point, I was like, oh my gosh, I should add to this position. Now you can already see the pattern formation in here. Okay. So you can already see the pattern right here, this corrective pattern that we got through here already. So never mind my 5 wave thing right there, but you could already see the bullish pattern right here. But then I saw this take a dip right here, which is usually bullish. So you'll see like the bear is in here, but it really doesn't mean anything. Right now it doesn't, because what's going to happen is you're going to start triggering off bullish dips. Bullish dips are going to happen way faster because you're going to start hitting these lows, and your price action is not going to be below the low in here. You're going to trigger off some more bullish price action. So possible, this is just a continuation here, unless, like I said, it's ABC, and then we get into one of these levels. We'll just look for price action to get into this fib extension here for this 618, 71, 427. Okay. But yeah, we got that dip there. And now I'm starting to see the 4 hour do something here. So the 4 hour cloud is quite a ways away now. We still haven't invalidated this, so I just still had it in here just in case. You always have to have a backwards narrative in here. Let me take away some lines first of all. Let me take away uh, this right here. Let me take away those weekly levels right there for starters. And then we're going to take a look at the cloud in here. So you see how this cloud is starting to turn down right here, starting to flip down. All right, which means it makes it a little bit harder. It's pointless for me to try to explain that. This cloud is starting to flip down. So at some point, this is going to dip underneath price action. And then I can say, okay, I got another confirmation, like a third confirmation in here for price action. Right now, the cloud is still above price action. You typically want to see price action above cloud and above this white line right here. Otherwise, it tends to be a little bit more so of corrective, things like that. But in here, okay, we got something that I was looking for in here yesterday. We were talking about this potential breakout right here on our momentum. Also discussed the bullish divots here, which I saw a mile away which is also why I maintained my entry, but I was still a little nervous in here because of the bullish divergence in here off of the 4 hour time frame. So bullish divvies, and then I break out of our falling channel in here. You do see the little bear div in here on the 4 hour, but I told you that you could probably expect that. You see some sort of bear div because it's gonna take us a lot, and then we don't actually change the structure in here until we get above here. So that's your potential shift when price action starts to close above this pivot here. These were just the two levels that we were looking at on the 4 hour time frame. Now we really exceeded this. I really wasn't thinking that we would exceed this too much right here. That we could get above it, but not really exceed this too much. And then this just ended up being a back test because we talked about the fact that this had this wick over here. I forget the technical term I like to use for that, but you can see how we just held that as a back test instead and got a bounce up instead of it being a clear like rejection level right there, just a bounce on inducement or something like that. So this inducement candle over here, they're always interesting to look at. All right, so this was about a 50% retracement. Now we didn't exactly touch the 50. Hold on, what am I talking about? No, we did. We did. We straight up hit 50% retracement. It was the 618 that we weren't getting to, that everybody was waiting on the 618. And I would have been a fool yesterday and would not have been, not yesterday, but it was Thursday, and not get into, Thursday, get into price action if I just continue to sit here and wait for a 618 retracement. So thank goodness I did not wait for that. I used the levels that were provided, which were these levels right here. So yeah, while we're gonna put in a lower high through here, you might see something like this. You might see price action actually break this trend line. You might. Don't think anything of that. Not yet. Not yet anyway. Okay. So other than the fact that, momentum might be starting to shift a little bit, probably put in a bear div here and then continue that move down. More than likely that's what you'll see. You'll see a bear div in here. Especially if we get pretty extended in here. Like right now, RSI is at a 28. I don't set mines that way. I don't set mines for 30, as you can see. My my extended level on my RSI is 20. I just don't use 30. So I cap mines in between a 80 and a 20. And then mean is always going to be the mean, which is going to be 50. But yeah, I typically do it like that for personal reasons. There is one other thing in here that I could think of, and that is an ABC correction. Now you're not going to see this off of the weekly, of course. It's going to be more related to the daily. Let's go with the daily. So right here on our daily, after our 5 wave move up, and you can see we have this broadening in here, our megaphone pattern right here. This could have been this. And like I said, we get a little 5 waver in here. Because after you put in your 5, you're gonna see some sort of a correction through here. So 4, 5, and then A, B, and then C right here. And I don't think that there was. Let me see. Is there anything else I need to add to this conversation? Not really. It's the weekend. It's the weekend. You know, it's the weekend. I see we're trying a little bit more in here, but it's the weekend. Let's go ahead and put my fib. Not to fix that. So go ahead and put my fib in here on this. this. So I can tell you right now, especially if you're actually, let me just put on the EMAs. Here we go. Like I said, we probably wouldn't deviate too far um, below here. Between this 382 and this 50. Right now, I know that this 200 is going to continue to move a little bit over time. So it just depends on how fast we can make a move like this happen. Preferably, I mean, if I just look at things in the context of what it is right now, I don't want to see price trading below the 200 EMA. Or maybe I reconsider adding to my position once I see us reclaiming above the 200 EMA. That's the only other way I can think of it right now for myself personally. So let's just say it takes a while to get here, and this 200 deviates too far away from this 382. Then I'm going to hold out for a little while. I'm going to hold out until at least price action is trading back above the 200 EMA in terms of adding to my long position, just to protect myself. Because anything can happen. Anything can happen this weekend. This can be so wrong, so wrong. Like I said, I'm not an Elliottician in any way whatsoever. I know basic stuff, and I'm just going to have to assume on my basic knowledge is what I'm doing in here. But I can see the bullishness in here for price action. Um, what was something else that I discussed in here with you? Um, no, nothing really. Let me take a look at Ethereum with you because I've only managed to buy my position on Ethereum twice, one being the 786, the other being the low of this range right here. So you can see as Ethereum starts to push up, you're going to look back at that 2147 as we're below it. Like we can dance around in here for a while. With Ethereum. I don't think that Ethereum just comes back up and blasts through that level. It was support here, resistance here, support there, and then so on and so forth. So with Ethereum, yeah, that's still going to continue to be some resistance right there for ETH. And then of course, what I think long term, um, maybe VWAP or something like that, a slight deviation below VWAP, and then we deviate too far, I cut my position. I don't really have that much on it. I bought twice. I don't have that much on it because I want to give it room to finish playing out because I'm under the idea that it could do a little bit more. But if you look here, there's something else I was thinking about today too. So if we look right here, so you see how I have this pattern in here. I'm sure you've seen this pattern before right here. Like basically what we did, and I just extend this a little bit right here for this, and extend this. So along with our low in here, we're just tapping into the bottom down here. That's why I say if we deviate a little bit on VWAP, I'm okay with it. If we deviate too much, I'm not. This could have been an overshoot. This part right here could have been an overshoot. And let's just say we're at a low. And even if we bounce around in here for a little while, and then we get our true breakout of this triangle formation for Ethereum, that's a real possibility right there. That's all we did. We had an overshoot. And I drew this off of a line bias. As you know, I'm real funny about cutting through candles and things like that. So it's just a line bias drawing. Um, the next move up is going to be our real breakout, and Ethereum goes. It goes because sometimes that happens, especially in a triangle formation. You get a breakup. Sometimes you get a a break to the downside, and then you get the real move. So initial move, possibly the real move, but it didn't play out initially, and then you get this drop down, bear trap, and boom, we get the real move off of this formation right here. And if we're measuring this out, and I'm just going to do it from the line bias since I have it mapped out. What line chart? Wherever this is at the moment, let me just extend this out too. I can change all of this later on. But wherever this breakout happens in here, like so, like that for Ethereum. Now, if you do it off of the line chart, you get a little bit more girth out of this. But this is what I'm looking at right now. Just, wherever our breakout happens in here for Ethereum, that's what I'll be looking at. Overshoot, or maybe now I want to call it a bull trap. Overshoot, really at the low, and then we break out, or a slight deviation below bear trap, and then go for Ethereum. So bear that in mind with ETH. Okay. Bear it in mind with ETH. I think I'll just leave this like so, but I'm going to take this because I hate the way it, there, I do it like this. Let's see Solana while I'm here with you. All right. So Solana is at the 786 Fibonacci retracement right now. Clean little rejection off of that 786 in here. I was drawing this out yesterday because I'm thinking about this liquidity up here. So at some point I do expect for that to get grabbed, but I was doing it like this, like that. So our trend line break, which I might be off a little bit. Let me just double check. A little extra all the time. Come on. Don't give me a hard time. Okay, so you see why I have to do that? Because that line would be so wrong. That line would be so wrong. It'd be so wrong. But that's exactly what we came up and we hit here on Solana. The trend line here and the 786 together. Perfect slap. Perfect. Perfect. You also have this point of control. For me personally, I'm a little late when I'm dealing with this POC, but it's a line, and we're looking for a blanket, and so that's a blanket line right there. That is a blanket line right there. But at the end of the day, I'll be looking for price action. We did sweep it a little bit. Typically, at some point you will take the liquidity off of a trend line. But usually when you get a 1-2 tap, that creates a trend line, the third tap into it will be a rejection if it's to the upside, and a support level if it's to the if price action is getting a retracement down, like a corrective move down, then you get a bounce off of that. So that's how I tend to view trend lines: the two that create it, and then the next move is the one where you'd be looking for a slight rejection. Hold on, that still doesn't look like it's right. It's not. Hold on. That's not right. Okay, so there we go. I can deal with that. And then, of course, you haven't had a third tap, not if you do it theoretically from here. Haven't had a third tap. So this could be, just depends on how long it takes for price action to get there. You either look at it that way, or what are we doing here? Or we're on it right now. But I don't subscribe to bouncing from here right now. I'm going to treat this like it was a third tap personally. Can it? It absolutely can bounce from here. So bear that in mind. It could be a continuation up right here for for Solana. I like the fact of price action coming back here to this trend line right here. Can't say we get it, but I do like that. I'm gonna take away. You can already see that we've tapped the 786 in here. So I'm just gonna take this 786 away. We can talk about it later, another day. And right now I'm gonna look for something like this to take place. What else did I have in here? Yeah. So this, yeah, back test on this high potentially here where this 382 is located. That would be cool for me. Or it just depends on how long it takes for us to get down here. Um, that's basically what I would be leaning towards right here for Solana. If we get it, we get it. We don't. I'm not trading Solana anyway. Let me extend this. Let me see where I have this at. What time frame? Okay, so you can see that a little better. So everything works. Trend lines work. You'll see if you like it, it works. Let's talk about that extension. Let's see if that's actually going to meet here where the value area high is at. Let's do an extension right here. So I'm going to take it from the low to here. And then I'm going to do this low right here. And let's just drop all of this. Just add the 6.5 in here. So it's a bit up above that. And it comes in right here at that 89.84 right here. How about it? Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Won't he do it? So it comes in on this peak right here. So definitely do look for that. Let me take this away. It's just extra lines I really don't need. So you can look for that. Let me look back at Bitcoin real quick before I get out of here. Just want to give you guys a quick update. This is like that was like the second Friday, especially when something I said about last Friday when I said that you can see the accumulation, like long term, you see institutional money coming in off of that low at $60,000. You can see the institution buying up that dip. We was looking at bar charts, inside information, and you can see it, institutions were buying that $60,000 low. But but then you can see the little bit of hedging, and you can see some weakness in the charts. Slight bit of weakness, momentary weakness is how I described it. But overall, more accumulation is happening, like really accumulating. And for IBIT, it was I can't remember what it was on IBIT. All right, let's see what this is. Let's see what people are buying. Probably a golden pocket. Let's see. I might need to move my You know what? I think I do. Let's just do this. There we go. 786. Duo. Yeah, 786. Reacting off of 786 right there. So maybe we come back up this time and we really do see a rejection off of that, and then we get that last little mover in here to be somewhere down here, right about there. And then let's see. don't want to use this because that's really not going to give me much. And if I use it like this, I still don't know that I get too much. I think that that's more correct. I'm just going to do this just for the sake of doing it, just so I can see uh, what my potentials would be in here for Bitcoin. And this is a bit steep. I think people would really get scared of, or the information would be spread wrong if we were doing the 618. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna hang on to these. We'll see how we end up chopping through here. How we're gonna do right in here. Better way to eliminate some noise on my chart. Let me see if this measures to our 618. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Yes, he will do it. Yes, he will. So maybe, maybe we're gonna do this and then do something like this. And if not this, then we'll do this one. Hopefully that's it. I'm gonna lean on this 382 for some reason. I'm gonna lean on that 382. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully. Hopefully that's the case. But I still won't be taking another short in here. I'm gonna hold out and look for my next long. I got this in here double times for some reason. I know I synced it one time and it looks like I may have went over and it synced it again, or just drew it out again or something. I don't think that there was anything else in here. Yeah, that was perfect. Perfect. Now, if I see something different in here, I will most certainly let you know. Like if for some reason I see some bearishness coming into the chart, because anything can change the charts. Anything can change it. I will let you know. But that's what I'm going to be looking at right now, potentially coming back up here towards the 699364. And then we're going to continue our long-term move to the downside for the bear market because it is still, bearish at the moment. Something else I wanted to share with you here is going to be USDT dominance. So it's just an inverse to Bitcoin. So basically we'll be looking at the same thing in here. Like this is potentially a wave 3 right here for USDT dominance, and then we're putting in a wave 4 to the downside. I'm going to be looking for support to come in somewhere in here, and then potentially like at the top side of this box right here. So take a look here first. That's going to line up with this trend line right here, with this momentum line right here, potentially on our wave 5. We'll see how deep that needs to get. I mean, wave 4. I'm sorry, how deep that needs to get for us, because this was potentially on a lower time frame like this one, possibly a wave 5 up, and we're doing an ABC correction or something like that. But I'm going to be looking for this to be in the macro a wave 4, and then we continue the move up here for USDT dominance. Yeah, so like this. Let me see if there was anything in here. Um, you know what I didn't do? Because I've taken a measurement on every think I ever did one off of, and this is, I think this is a line bias in here as well. So you don't think I'm just, how in the world is she drawing this line? Because I hate cutting through wicks. The only way I cut through them is if I'm doing a line bias chart. And you can take this from the broader perspective. I'm going to take it from, I may have already done that with this, though. I think I may have already done that with this move right here. I think so. I think that's where I got that line from right there. I think so. Let me just be sure. There's some sense in me doubling down on something that I've already. I'm going to turn that on. Might have been how I got this here. And it looks like it is. Looks like I just, yeah, I've already done this measurement right here. I forgot what I was going to say about the time frame. I kid you not. Like I had everything in my head before coming on stream, and now I totally can't recall. But that looks like it was a five waiver up right there. No actual bear divs in here, which is typical for 4 5. I don't really see a bear div in here. So I don't think that this is it. Again, I think that we get a corrective move down. From a larger perspective, this was a two, wave two. Wave two here, a wave three. I don't know. I don't know. This was likely a wave three on a larger scale, a wave three, and then we start to see a wave four get put in here, and then we go a little bit higher in here. I have my crap together next time I come on to explain it, but I don't have my crap together right now, to be honest with you. So I should just quit while I'm ahead. Just quit while I'm ahead. I don't think there's anything else. Gold, like I said the other yesterday on gold is infamous for chopping these lines like this. Like it can chop this all the way back up. Like it can chop it all the way back up. So it's really hard. It's hard when it comes to gold sometimes. What it's really going to do because we're not getting any follow through over here. I do still feel like this is a bearish formation here around the low, but if gold starts to chop its way back up here, then just consider this to be an ascending triangle. This line right here can always be moved. It's not set in stone. Right now, we did come back up. We came back up here, tested it. We dropped down a little bit, came back up here and tested it. We are putting in higher lows and higher highs, especially if we drop down on a lower time frame. This is a higher low and a higher high. Okay, so same thing goes for this entire thing in here, higher lows and higher highs. So it can just continue to grind its way up through here. And if it does so, then just think of this as an ascending triangle and maybe gold wants to try again. I for the life of me, just have a hard time, not considering this to be a peak, but there are other factors that have to do with what price action does outside of technical analysis. There's fundamental analysis and things like that. So it's easy to get that wrong. Right now, I still hold my long, and that's all I know. I still hold my long. And if we look at this, if I move this from here to here, yeah, like fibs right now just not being respected. We already talked about the fact that this was, a value area low. My favorite thing to look at, but I'm looking at it nonetheless, especially when I have something else that falls in line with it. I just felt like, okay, drop. This would be bearish. Then we roll back down here, at least towards that momentum line, or back down here towards the support level in here in some way. Silver, I just feel the same way I feel about silver, which is if this bear flag plays out, which, it doesn't have to, but it's just something that I was looking at in here, and we see a $35 silver. Copper. I really got nothing right now on copper. I'm really not even interested in copper right now, to tell you the truth. Just gold. That's it. So the minute you see it stop chopping this and it comes back up, where it's hammering away across here, could be an ascending triangle. All right. That wicked something serious. Yep, I think that's gonna do it. Either this was the top of I'm just gonna switch that out so we all know what I'm saying. Actually, what did I just delete? And I'm putting it on this for the triangle. Understand that. And that was that. Or, we get a little bit more before we, then we'll have to redraw this pivot retracement, or we come up in here, we hit, potential that we could do that. I at this point just encourage looking for the long entry as opposed to trying to find a place to short it from. And that'll be wherever this is. And if this has to get moved up to here, then it has to get moved into here. You know, then you just look around this top right here. And that's all I got. Appreciate you for being here. See you on the flip side. If anything comes up, it'll come out. I'm down to Crypto TA, representing the Coin Kings channel.